Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today we are going to make 3 cards with the Countryside Inn Designer Series paper. Now I realize that this paper is 6x6, which means that when you finish using one sheet of my paper, the 12x12 paper, you will have, let's see, 3 times 4, 12 cards. So, wow. It's not a very complicated pattern that I'm going to use. I'm just cutting 2 sheets, one sheet of 6x6 paper into 3 different sizes, actually 2 sizes for one and then 1 size for another. Boy, I'm having a hard time here today, but you're going to love the cards. That's all I'm going to say. Wish me luck though, because I have the pups here. My son went downstairs and he went outside to hit some golf balls and came downstairs to tell me, which meant that pups came down. Now he's outside, so they're hanging out with me. So hopefully they don't hear anything. Their hearing is really astute. So I'm a little worried about it, but we're going to be fine. Let's get to these cards. I hope you love the new catalog. I'm certainly loving it. I think I've placed 3 orders so far. And I always expedite my shipping so that I'm not going to be waiting forever and ever for my stuff to come. But hopefully you could do that too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right now just get right to this. I have my paper cutter with me. I have my chamois. We are going to use the boho blue card bases. And then I have 1 sheet of this paper, which is why I'm wearing this top tonight, just to kind of match. It doesn't exactly match, but we're going to have fun making these 3 cards. I think you're going to love them, and they're so simple. You'll see what I mean. Okay, because it does, I have the sentiment, I am actually going to stamp a flower. What this means is when you get this card kit, you can stamp whatever flower at the top you want to. I chose to use boho blue and night of navy, and I'm using the 2-tone flora stamp set. I'm using 3 different images, which means 3 different spaces for my sentiments, and you'll see what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to flip you up to the ceiling, then I'm going to flip down. Some of this I have to be standing for anyway, so let's get going. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure you leave me a comment. Tell me where you're from. Tell me about your weather. Right now, it's about 75 degrees here. Every once in a while, the AC kicks on. It's beautiful. I took a 3.5-mile walk this morning and I loved it. I'm hoping you're enjoying your day too. Okay, so let's flip up right now. I don't want to make you dizzy, but this is what we're going to do. Okay, so, and down. There we go. So hopefully this is going to work. You see right here, my May host code. Make sure you place at least a $35 order with me and you will get these this card kit. You can make 6 of them with this. You need to use the host code though, unless your order is over $150, then don't use the host code and I will just send you the card kit as a thank you. Okay, so here we go. Let me show you the cards that I've made already. They're so nice. Okay, so this one, isn't that so cute? All I did was an extra strip. I'll show you how I made these in just a second. Grateful for the everyday magic of you. And here's card number 3 with deepest sympathy. Like I said, I used 3 different flower stamps for this, and I will show you what I did. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. So I told you I was going to use a 6x6 sheet of designer paper. We're going to do that right now. And what I'm going to do is do 2 of the cards. I like to have my cutter on my right. I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4. And the reason I'm cutting it at 4 1/4 is because it's going to fit across the entire card base here. So let's do that. 4 1/4. And then what I'm going to do is cut this piece in half. I could do different sizes, but I know that this works, so this is what we're going to do. This is 3 by 4 1/4 now. We've got 2 of them. I'm showing you how to make simple cards here, Oh, we've got to do one more cut. I forgot. So this leaves, I believe, 1 3/4 inches. Yep, it leaves 1 3/4 inches. I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4 inches because I want a little bit of the boho blue showing on each side rather than it going all the way to the bottom. I could go to the bottom and say that it's 5 1/2 inches. It's up to you, but I'm cutting it at 5 1/4 inches because I like how I did it. Okay, so here we have our 3 pieces of designer paper. And I think I'm going to set this aside. So these cards, when I made it, this card here, I scored 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 at 4 1/4. Because I wanted to do something a little different to show you, you could also do 4 1/4 by 11 and score it at 5 1/2. You are left with the same area. And what I like about this is that I could wrap ribbon around it if I chose to. I don't choose to, especially because, oh my goodness, I just realized that last week when I was making my cards, and I made cards last Monday night, I did a Facebook Live, and then I did it upside down, so I re-recorded and did another one on Saturday, and I did it right side up. What I didn't realize is that the crinkled seam binding has retired. So I went to order more today, and I couldn't, which brought me to the catalog, which brought me to my attention that I used the wrong stuff. So I love the white ribbon with this. We could also use the glitter organdy ribbon with this if we wanted to. I'm not going to use ribbon though because I don't think we really need it. Okay, I have here 3 pieces of Night of Navy. They're all the same, 3 by 3, and then I have 3 pieces of basic white cardstock that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. We're going to mat them on here. I'm not going to glue them right away because I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to stamp it and make sure it stamps well, because don't forget that if you don't stamp well the first time, you can always flip your card over and your cardstock, and then you can use the other side. So let's get, because I'm using the Two-Tone Flora stamp set here, it's a photopolymer set, so I'm going to want my pierce mat so that I can get a nice crisp image. So let me stand up so that I can do this. Okay, so I had to figure out what, I have all these blocks here. For my sentiment, I'm going to use the Something Fancy stamp set, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It kind of depends on how much room I have with my flowers when I stamp them. But I did want to stamp this to start. So what I've realized is boho blue is actually quite a dark blue. It's not as light as it seems here. When I stamped it, you can see it here. That's boho blue stamped. It's actually quite dark. And what I ended up doing with my cards when I made them, I stamped it off. So we're going to do that again tonight. Okay, let's get my basic white card stock piece here. Like I said, this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to start with the largest flower here. And I don't know if I have figured out yet, I'm trying, but with this Two-Tone Flora stamp set, I don't know if it's better to stamp with the Night of Navy and the dark one first with the outline stamp, or to stamp with my light. So we're going to go and do that. I think what I want to do is stamp with my dark first. We're going to try that. I definitely did that with my little flowers. Let me show you this card. Here, when I did this card here, I first did my light blue flowers, and don't forget, this is boho blue that's stamped off. When I did this with my first card, I actually did not line up the centers very well, so Night of Navy works really well with that one for sure. Let's start with that one because I know we can do it. I know we can do a good job with that. And you know what I might do too? Oh, see, I used a lot of ink. You don't need that much. You just have to tap. What I'm going to do, instead of just one set of flowers, I'm going to do 2 sets of flowers. There we go. And we will see how this is going to work. So that is my Night of Navy. These are my centers for this. I just, because I'm kind of separating them out, I think 2 will fit. I'm going to actually put my stamps back in there and hopefully not get ink all over everything, because what I have decided is I'm going to just rinse them under the faucet, because this is really, especially for this one, this is boho blue and it's really wet. going to stamp off, and then I'm going to try and line up my flowers. Not bad. Let's do that again. Stamp off. And I actually can see in here where my centers are supposed to go. There's a tiny little dot. Now I might be off a little bit, but not bad. Isn't that so pretty? They look like forget-me-nots. So pretty. So what I'm going to do next is look at my stamp set. I've got lots of room. Let's see. Let's use the You Matter to So Many, if I can figure that out. Sorry, I have to try and read all of these backwards because I didn't put my labels on. So, To So Many. There we go. We're going to use that one. I don't even think I've used this one yet. Isn't that funny? This could be somebody where you're thinking of them, or, you know, get well. I don't know. Why would you say you matter to so many? To so many. You matter. See, now when I put it on the stamp, I lined it up with the block. So what I'm going to do is, and do I want to do that? I'm going to do that with Night of Navy. Let's just do that. I'm going to make sure I do it right side up. So I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. There we go. Nice simple card. This is all I'm going to do for this card. Isn't that so easy? And I think that it kind of matches this designer paper pretty well. So let's do that. This is probably my favorite so far that I've stamped, which is really cute, cool. Since it's my first one. There we go. Make sure I'm centered all the way around. I am. I'm going to just attach this. Let's see. I could do it right at the bottom, all the way to the bottom, just like that. Then if I'm going to do it that way, I think, no, you know what? Let's see. I'm just doing this a little bit different. So they're all going to look a little bit different. It just depends on where you put your designer paper. What I would love to do if I was going to do this is make sure, I'll just center it right there. And when I say center, I mean it's equidistant from the top and equidistant from the left. And then I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. But this one I'm going to pop up because I love my dimensionals, especially for this. Don't forget, when you're using your dimensionals, you don't have to put or take off your back covers of all of your dimensionals. If you have at least 4 of them taken off, isn't that cool? I'm going to leave these 2 on. They're not going anywhere. It's going to be fine. So we're going to put that right there. And the other thing I'm going to do, which I didn't do with my other cards, is use some gems. I have some iridescent pearls here that I'm going to use. Oh boy, you know what? I could go to town here now that I'm looking at it. And do it on all of my flowers. Maybe I'll just choose a couple though, because I don't want to make my card too lumpy for when I mail it. That's good enough. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? I think so. Okay, so that's card number 1. Do you see how long that took me? Not long. Now, if you know me, you know that I love to use matted layers. I could easily do a layer of Night of Navy under here, just like I have it under the white, but I want to make this simple. You don't need to mat everything if you don't want to. People are going to love that you made a handmade card, so that's good. So there you go. That's card number 1. I'm going to try and separate that from the rest of mine. I'm getting a little nervous about stamping my other two-tone flora stamps because they are a little bit difficult to line up, I have to say. Okay, so we don't need that. Let's do our next piece here. Don't get discouraged though, I have to tell you, even though they're hard to line up, guys, it's so worth it in the end. And really what it comes down to, you don't have to be super particular because people are just going to love that you are making them a handmade card. So don't forget the meaning of the card. I'm going to put that over here. And once again, I'm going to use my boho blue and I'm going to stamp it off. So here we have our boho blue. Just today, I finished getting all of my labels on my ink pads. My goodness. And then they had to go and change the order. And I'm kind of particular. I like to know where my ink pads are going. So I line them up like Regals 1 to 10. Well, the Regals, the Cherry Cobbler and the Real Red changed position. And that threw me for a loop. That meant I had to change probably more than half of my labels, just to let you know. I just got some ink on there and I want to make sure I don't get it on my card. See how wet this is? This is really wet. What I should have done, and in fact, I'm going to show you what I would do. Okay, hold this thought for 1 second. I need to find my chamois, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with this ink pad so that it's not so wet. I have here an old bone folder. Let me get my chamois. This is so wet. I'm going to have to rinse this out. So wet, this stamp. This is why I said I was going to rinse it when I was done. What you're going to do is take your, if you've got a really wet ink pad like I do, just kind of move the ink out to the edges. So by doing it that way, and you know what, I'm going to wipe this off on my chamois so that I can use this bone folder without it being boho blue for the rest of its life. Now what we're going to do is go right here in the center, and you see it's not even close to as wet as it was before. A little bit, but not terrible. Okay, truth time. I have to try and match, and I'm kind of using the outline. Let's just do that. I'm a little off, I think, but it's not terrible. There we go. Yeah, not terrible. It's actually probably better than my last one. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, what I'm going to do is pull out, because that's my biggest flower, I'm going to use my long block, and I'm going to use a nice long sentiment. What do I want to say? I think I'm going to do the sympathy one again. I really, really love and need sympathy cards. So actually, I don't really need this big of a block. Maybe I'll use a smaller one and save that just in case I need that for something else. Okay, this says with deepest sympathy. What I'm going to do is line up my words. I'm usually pretty good at this. I can eyeball something and say that's straight with the top here. If you're not sure, you can use grid paper underneath and line it up that way. Let's do another Night of Navy sentiment this time instead of the boho blue, since I've already done for my first card that was just a showing you what I was doing. Oh, I see I lined it up with the bottom again. Nope, I didn't. Make sure that you pay attention to right side up versus upside down. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? That's so pretty. And people are going to love this card, and they're going to love this paper. The paper, once again, is called Countryside Inn, and it is so, so pretty. Let's use, since I've already done, no, I did my, let's do it this way. We're going to put this about here. Actually, I'm going to line it up with the bottom. Let me get my, oh, Minnie's roaming around. This means trouble. When Minnie is on the prowl, she's looking at me like, so let's go for a walk. So let's have a treat. And I should not have said that out loud. One thing that I did do for my other cards, I have a little 3/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch strip of cardstock here, and I really like that. So I'm going to put that here again on this one. I can't do it on my other card because it's already glued down, and the second one it's going to be a long card, so that's not going to work either. Actually, let me bring that down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. We're going to add this to our navy blue matte layer, 3 by 3. Don't forget my basic white is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to add that, and we're going to pop it up with dimensionals again. This is still nice and simple to do, even with all these dimensionals, and it adds a little extra something to your card when you do it. Let me add a couple more, maybe one more, right there. Okay, and I'm not peeling that because I don't have to. I'm going to put this right here. Now, I told you that I was going to, look at how pretty that is. Isn't it so nice? I told you that I'm doing a simple card. If I wanted to, I could add a layer here. Maybe I do 4 by 5 1/4. And if I did that, I might do this instead of 4 1/4 inches wide. I might do it 4 inches wide, so it's a layer. I could do 4 by 5 1/4 of the same color and emboss that layer. I could emboss this strip if I wanted to. I could wrap it with ribbon. I'm going to add some gems because I can. Once again, we're going to use the iridescent pearls, and I'm going to put it in the stamens right here in the center of my beautiful flower. Let me just do, I know they say 3, but I think we need 4 on this one. There we go. Isn't that so pretty? Love this card. And it's all ready for somebody. What I should have done was had a basic white layer, same thing, 4 by 5 1/4. That's my centers all the time. I should have had that ready to go, and I should have stamped something inside too, but I didn't. So, okay, we're going to leave that off to the side. We're going to go to our third flower. This is slightly smaller than the one that I just did. And I did so that I knew which flower went with which. I put them on the same size block so that I knew that they coordinated. Okay, and once again, I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did the last time. I've got my cardstock piece right there. I'm going to stamp my Night of Navy first. And like I said, this is photopolymer, so don't forget, guys, to use your paper piercing mat. Just so that it is a nice, crisp, clean image. Okay, so that's the Night of Navy. I'm gonna stamp our boho blue. This is one of our new in colors this year, and it's so pretty. This should be better because I've already moved the ink just like I did the last time. It's still a little wet. Now it almost looks like I don't have any ink on here, but when you stamp, when I stamp, you'll realize that I do. Let's see. This is the tricky part, trying to line this up. There's probably a trick to it that I don't know. Oh, you know what? I bet that where I've got the ink in the center probably lines up right there. Look at that. And I bet it's going to be really a nice, look at that, not bad. So it's not quite right, but it's almost right. The ink that's left in the center was my telltale sign that I did need something to line up. So I was able to do that. It's not perfect, but it's really pretty good. So, and like I said, if somebody's judging your card, they don't deserve your card, guys. Nobody's going to judge. They just love that they're getting a handmade card. And don't you love sharing what you do and sharing what you make? I mean, what's the point of making it if you have a whole craft room full of cards that you don't send to anybody? I'm preaching to the choir here because I'm just as bad as the rest of you sometimes with sending my cards, but I'm trying to get better. Okay, so let's see. We've done You Matter to So Many. We've done the sympathy card. Let's just do the thank you. Why not? We can always use another thank you card. That's going to be my last one, and I've got one more block here. This one I'm going to try to line up just like that. And I think, did I glue that down? I did. Can't believe I just did that, guys. You know what happens when you glue it down? That's when something messes up. I might get a smear. Well, if I get a smear, we're going to have to Here, let's just do it like this. Huh. Wow, this is kind of, well, I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm not going to do the thank you. It's almost like there's not enough room. Let's just do a beautiful happy birthday. Now, in here, we have a nice long happy birthday and congratulations. Let's just do that right now. Because otherwise, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to center my sentiment and have it look good. It was going to look a little odd. So, okay, so now we're just going to stamp a nice, quick, easy, happy birthday. Don't pay any attention to that little wobble that I just got there. Can't believe I just did that. But I told you I was going to because I already glued my piece down. Well, that's okay. We are going to use something a little bit different for this. We'll use some dots that are a little bit bigger, so it'll cover up that spot. These dots these actually go with the Cheerful Daisies suite. What are they called? Adhesive backed solid gems. And to me, these look like boho blue. They may be balmy blue, but they're pretty close and they're going to match the paper very nicely. So let's use one of them right there. And we'll do another one over there. And let's just do a smaller one, I don't know, over there. Little odd, I had to put it there because we had to cover it up, but there you go. Okay, so this, once again, I now have, don't forget, my 1 3/4 inches by my 5 1/4 inches. I could even put this in the center. There are so many options. Just a strip of paper, and this is going to make it look, oh, I'm going to do it that way. I could even make this a banner, but we're not going to. I'm just going to glue it to the center so that it looks different from my other cards. Right in the center. So on top and bottom is equal, and then left and right is equal. There we go. And let's put some dimensionals on here. Don't forget to tell me where you're from. If you love this designer paper, the designer paper is called Countryside Inn, and it's about as Delft looking. And I found out today that I have to do a tutorial with I belong to a group where I do tutorials on certain suites. Well, guess what? I got assigned the Countryside Inn suite. So that was kind of exciting. I enjoy using this paper, and there's so many options. I'm just going to go like that. What do you think? So let me show you. So this is actually, if you want to count them all, I've got 6 cards out of a 6 by 12 inch piece of designer paper. I actually cut it into 6 by 6. And what I did was, don't forget, 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And then that left me a 1 3/4 inch strip, and I cut that down to 5 1/4 inches. So let me show you the 3 cards that we just made right now. I mean, it was that quick. We've got that one. We've got our sympathy card, and we've got, here, let's go like this. And the one where it says you matter to so many. That's what I did just now. They're all a little bit different. And then we've got our cards here. This is one that I made today. I didn't quite line it up as well as I would have liked. Here's another one that I did this morning when I was practicing and cutting it up. And here's another one. So I can show you right now, we have here 6 cards out of 6 by 12 that were so easy to do, and you can see what I did here. I hope that you love this and you play with this and realize that our designer paper is meant to be cut up, not stored, not hoarded, and you're meant to enjoy it. And this is the prettiest one going. So please go out and buy some. Love you guys. Okay, I'm going to flip back once more, I believe. Let me see. I'm going to flip you. Oh, thanks for the love. Oh, Judy. Oh, Lori, thanks. Oh, aren't they so pretty, Lori? Thank you so much. See, I'm loving that you guys left me some comments, and I hope that you enjoyed them. Yes, it's so pretty. You can't go wrong with this paper. So Boho Blue, Night of Navy, and the Countryside Inn designer paper. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.